Kary Oberbrunner. Welcome to Blockchain Life. And we have a fantastic guest today. I am super excited about Breno. You're going to meet him in just a moment. The team wanted me to just mention this exciting announcement, and I've forgotten the last few weeks, but I have it in my notes. Let me read it exactly. It says that Blockchain Life podcast was selected in the top 5 of the best blockchain podcasts of all the internet. So this is according to, I want to read the company and the article, but it's according to Blockchain Podcasts. And let me just thank them. But you can find out more about them at blog.feedspot.com. blog.feedspot.com. They're called FeedSpot, and they rank different podcasts. And this one specifically ranked us as number 5 out of all podcasts on blockchain. So thanks so much. Now let's get into the good content, and that's Breno. How you doing today, Breno?
Good. Hi, Kary. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah.
Congrats on the ranking.
I'll tell you what, man, I started this thing late December, just kind of saying, I want to learn from smart people like you. And it has been so fun. We've had a lot of guests everywhere from metaverse architects to blockchain experts to NFT artists. Tell us about yourself today, Breno. Tell us your first and last name, what company you're involved with, and how you got into this Web3.
Yeah, my name is Breno and last name Araujo. I'm from Brazil, hence the difficult name. And my company's named Bodo. I started it last year. I've been in the blockchain space since 2016. So before Bodo, I was working for Ripple, and started Bodo last year to build to build a platform so people can build bots and automation, focus on the Web3 space in blockchain.
Now, did you say Ripple?
Yes.
I've heard that's pretty big time, right?
Yeah, the XRP Ripple, so I worked for them for 4 years before starting Boto.
So you know your stuff. Well, let's even talk about that, because some of our listeners, they're entrepreneurs. We kind of say that we reach authors, entrepreneurs, and influencers. How did you know it was time to go from your day job with Ripple to going out on your own? That's a pretty big step.
Yeah, it was a big step, and it was a difficult time for me. I had just started a new department at Ripple. I was recruiting and building this, so I was working very hard. And at the same time, my wife was off her job doing an MBA and pregnant.
Ooh.
So we had a baby coming, one salary, not much savings, and I was doing well at the job. But I always knew I wanted to build my own company. So, I'm being always building different things on the side of my jobs. And this one, the idea came in 2020, but last year was like, it just had this light bulb moment thinking, okay, this is how I'm going to start it. And I went to the Chainlink Hackathon with a friend, and we won 2 prizes there from Infra and from Av. And that was the first sign. Okay, this idea is a little bit different than the previous ones. Things are working fast. And then one accelerator approached us called Tachyon from Consensus Mesh and Filecoin Protocols Labs. We got into the accelerator, and that was the moment that I talked at length with my wife, and that was the moment to decide, okay, am I going to do this or not? This is it. I need to live and be full time. The accelerator required quite a lot of effort, and I wanted to give it all I had.
Yes.
Wow. It's my dream, right? Yeah. So I would have about 6 months of runway until I ran out of money completely in February, and the baby was due in December. As we were thinking about this, I remember talking with my wife, and she's like, no, we'll find a way. It's your dream. We're going to make it work, So that was great. And she asked me, what does good look like? I was like, oh, good question. Okay. yeah, if we can raise funds before December, before the baby comes, that would be amazing. That's like
Mm.
dream. Okay, like I mean, I hadn't even launched. That was July. All right, and I was like, okay, that would be incredible. And we launched in August, first day of August, and we closed our seed investor, lead investor in October.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it was just incredible. Like I'm very grateful now looking back, because like it was the time, and it was also the time to raise funds. I was if, you mentioned you have entrepreneurs in listening. There is timing.
Yes.
It was a good time to raise funds. Right now, it is not in comparison to
Mm.
last year. So I raised at the right time. We got incredible investors. We raised 3.7 million in equity, and allow me to start building the business.
Wow. Wow. So you mentioned that just to unpack that story, did you say you attended was it a conference with your friend?
It was a hackathon,
What
Chainlink hackathon.
what does that mean?
Oh yeah, so it's basically a small competition where you
Okay.
go, and mostly for developers, you go and the idea is you build something using Chainlink, and we built, and I had already the idea of Bodo, and we built a demo, which was not a working demo, was kind of like just half video, half code, and just to show the concept, and we got some good feedback from people in the competition, and we got two prizes, and that really was the first kind of like
That was like the
sign.
belief,
Yeah, it's
right?
the first time you get some sort of confirmation, right?
Yes.
Validation of the idea. It's still not fully validation because you don't have users, you haven't built anything. Then the second validation was the accelerator telling us, well, I'm gonna give you 80K to try for you to try to do this, based on your PowerPoint or demo. And it's like, okay, cool, that's another validation. Still not no users, but then it was great, because in August we got our first, we launched, and we had like, it was hard to get first users. You start finding friends and people, and like come 2-3 people, and it's like but we were very lucky. Very early on, I hit some a good traction with NFTs, and that traction, my focus was that, every week I was working on how can I get more users and people using bots,
Mm.
and week over week, that was my focus, and that's what really helped me with the investors. If I didn't have the numbers, I wouldn't have the investors, right? So it's like
Yes.
kind of like they follow.
So let's unpack a couple quick things. My listeners, some of them are very savvy and some of them are brand new. So when you say Chainlink, is that a blockchain? What is Chainlink?
Chainlink is a protocol and a blockchain in the Ethereum space, that allows real world data to be added to the blockchain. So
Okay.
they position themselves. It's called Oracle.
Oh yeah, yeah, I've
Oracle,
heard about Oracle. Yeah. So
yeah,
that Oracle means like it's dynamic, it's ever changing, something like that.
it's ever changing, and it's basically the Oracle to get the source of truth for the blockchain,
Mhm.
based on real world data. So
Yes.
most of the data
Weather,
will have, sorry.
like weather is an example.
Like weather, yes, and most of the data will have multiple sources. Even price, if you think about it, funny enough, the price of crypto is not in the blockchain; it's outside of it. How do
Mm,
you bring that back to the blockchain? So
gotcha.
Ethereum doesn't have a price in the Ethereum blockchain. It's outside of the blockchain. It's in marketplaces. You have in Binance that would be a price.
Yes.
In Coinbase there will be another price. And how do you bring that back to your contract to say, if the price does that, I want my contract to do something else? And that's where Chainlink comes in order to provide
Like a verification.
yeah.
Wow, this is deep stuff. How would it affect authors or entrepreneurs or influencers? How would that oracle? How would an oracle ever? Would it ever matter to them?
It, It's a good question. I don't think I have the answer for that because I mean,
Yeah,
although I'm enthusiastic about Chainlink, I also ask myself similar questions because you don't have to have a blockchain data to use in a smart contract. You could use
gotcha,
just real world data.
gotcha.
The idea in theory is
Mhm.
that you collect multiple sources and you make one and you create an incentive, a decentralized incentive, so people don't lie about it. And the in theory the data is better,
Yep,
but it is less fast as well. So for
yep,
example, if for bots in our case, when I want to look at so we started thinking let's use Chainlink data for prices and stuff, but then when I looked at it, it's not very quick to up to date because it's expensive to update the blockchain. So they only update if there is a big change or X amount of time, like every 1 hour. But if you're doing a bot, you need something that is immediate, right?
yes.
So that's it. The
I see
protocol
what
is
you're
in
saying.
theory, it's a
Yeah,
better place in theory for a reliable source of truth in the long term, but not for every use case. It's not going to
yeah.
work for every use case.
I see how it could work for authors. If an
Yeah.
author wrote a book that was charity based, let's say, right? Because we have a lot of authors who write on causes. One of our authors writes on child abuse, others, missionaries, this type of thing. But I could see how a DAO tied to the book, a decentralized autonomous organization, would be dependent upon real world data. Even like a author who wants to give royalties, a percentage of their books to a charity or a cause, I could see how the
Hmm.
contract
Hmm.
would be contingent upon certain data.
Interesting. Yeah.
But let's go right into your company. How do I spell that?
Boto, it's BOTO, and the
BO.
website is boto.io.
Oh, talk to me about why you chose a .io because I'm big into this, man. The IO extension. Why did you choose that?
Well, one of the reasons is like .com is really hard to get a domain, right? I like .xyz, but I just like .io for tech.
Yeah,
It
I'm
sounds
with
good,
you.
and yeah, yeah,
Okay, so you can see my screen.
yeah, yeah. That's it. That's our
This is
homepage.
your website. It looks very clean.
Thanks. We just got
But
this new landing page a week ago,
oh,
so
I like
thanks
it.
to Braden, our new UX UI designer.
Oh, I like it. I like it. So, folks, if you're listening to the podcast and not the video, you need to go to B as in boy, O, T as in Tom, O.io. But take me through this. What does this all mean? Because again, like dumb it down for people like me. Why would we use this?
Yeah. So, if you're new to Web3,
Yeah.
very easily you're gonna find out that can be overwhelming, right? That's a lot going on, and it's a 24/7 space. So just the fear of missing out can be, quite strong, and then you end up easily addicted to things and getting like refreshing pages and looking at stuff
Yes.
all the time, looking at comments and trying to follow up on what's going on. So
I say you get hacked. Like your brain gets hacked. You get distracted. No, but keep going. You're good. You're
yeah.
good.
So if you see, just as in that main page there, you see a few examples of like bot message, like, look, your wallet balance changed, or a board ape was sold, an NFT, or the gas price has changed. Here's the
Mm,
new gas price. So let's say instead of being, you know, uh, overwhelmed by this information or having to find it and paying attention and being aware of the time, you could set up bots to inform you based on your criteria in things that you care about. So you filter
mm,
out the noise, and then you can act at the right time based on that information, right? Let's
mm.
say you worry about the price of Bitcoin. Every day you go there and check. Instead of doing that, just get a message every day with the price of Bitcoin, or only when it goes down by X%. You could, things like that. But
Interesting.
yeah, so that's kind of like the idea of initially. Just right now, most of our use cases is how to get data about Web3, but based on your criteria, what matters to you,
Yeah.
and summarized, and where you want to receive it. Like, do you want to receive a Telegram message or an email, right?
Interesting. So again, I always filter this through authors, entrepreneurs, and influencers. So some of these people, let's say an author launches a new NFT project based on their book, they could use Bato. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, that's good.
Bato.
But
They could set up Bato alerts to tell them, so they don't have to be glued to their screen,
yeah.
whether people are buying their NFTs, or if, like you said, if the gas price goes way up, therefore they're not seeing NFTs be sold, they can make adjustments. Is this helpful?
Yeah, so typically we have a lot of artists in our platform,
Okay.
and so I think similar to the writers that you mentioned, and to the influencers, if they build their own NFT, they most of the time they use Bodo they install Bodo in their Discord server. So right now we are in over 4,000 Discord servers,
Whoa.
and what they do in general is put Bodo to message about my collection sold some every time there's a sales, or the floor price of the collection, which is the cheapest price of the NFT of the entire collection. So it shows kind of like it's going up or down, right? So people like to see that, and people who follow that
Interesting.
artist like to see that kind of thing. So if you
Ooh.
scroll down, yeah,
Oh, I love this. Let me ask you a quick question.
yeah,
Can you tie this into social media or not yet?
that's
In
a
other
very
words,
good question. At
you see what I'm
Twitter
saying?
is, yeah, like tweet. You mean?
Yeah, like in other words, if I had an NFT collection and I said, "Oh my gosh, I want to alert my tribe, my followers, every time that something is sold," kind of like a small win. Is that
Yeah.
something yet, or that's like, ooh, that's a good idea?
No, that exactly. So most of the time, what happened in the NFT space is that the social platform they use is Discord.
Yes.
But
Oh yeah.
but the next step we are putting Twitter on. The thing with Twitter is that Twitter's API are a little bit limited for bots, so
Yes.
we're gonna have to add that as a premium feature. We're gonna bring in July with the
Ooh, I
premium.
like that.
So you would be able to notify in Twitter instead of just Discord or
I like
other
that.
platforms. Yeah.
Okay, but this is good. One of my teammates, her name is Tanisha, and she's going to be running our Discord soon. But I could tell her that we'll integrate Bato
For
so
sure.
that it basically, check it out, it saves payroll time. Instead of me telling Tanisha, like, you got to be online all the time,
Yeah.
every day, and you got to be alerting every time there's a sale. Now I can just use Bato. Is that right?
Yeah, totally. So
Ooh,
if you
that's
see,
cool.
then here you have a little sample of a few recipes. The second one is the most typical for NFTs. If you click on OpenSea sales to Discord, so this is the kind of message you get. See, Doodle sold from this seller to the buyer by 22.9 Ethereum, and the price in dollars as well. And then you can make a few changes, and decide how you want to do
Customize.
this. Yeah.
That's cool. Okay. Wow. So you last July. Okay, you can do Reddit too, by the way.
Yeah, you can get Reddit news now, and or any RSS feed as well.
Oh
So
yeah.
if you want to say, if your NFT is mentioned, you could even filter by mention on the Reddit and say like, okay, if someone in that specific thing, if that's the thing that you're following, or
So
depends on.
so I got to break this down for my authors. A lot of authors have blogs and podcasts, which are RSS feeds, because we use an integration with Amazon as authors, where on our author page, every time we're posting something, it alerts our Amazon page. But you're telling me that we could plug in our RSS feed?
Yeah, I'll show you in a minute, but very easy. You can just put the RSS feed address, and you're gonna get the title, the summary, the URL link, and you can get message right now again on Discord, Telegram, Slack, and email, but Twitter soon in July. And
Ooh,
you know,
Slack, man, that's what my team uses.
yeah,
Ooh, that's cool. So we could almost alert our whole team every time that there's a sale.
Yeah, and if you want to monitor competing podcasts, and be aware of them when they come up with something as well for your internal team, you can use that as well for
Oh,
sure.
see, this is why I like interviewing you, Breno, because I'm always trying to think of the author and the entrepreneur and the influencer. And sometimes authors listen to a podcast like this and they're like, "Oh, that's interesting, but how does it even relate to me?" And you see that Breno is giving constant examples. That's great. Okay, so where do you want me to go now?
Or if you scroll a little bit more, you're gonna see our numbers. So this is live numbers. So every time you refresh, you get them. So this is what we have today from since we launched in August last year. So 6,000 users, 26,000 bots, and 42 million notifications were sent so far.
Wow. Very cool. Ooh, this is cool. So this shows Discord, Ethereum, OpenSea, Slack. What's this? Polygon, Google,
email, basically.
but like Gmail,
Yeah.
Gmail, Telegram. What's that? Is that Reddit? I don't even know.
No, it's another platform, marketplace. But
okay. Oh, is that Rarible?
yes.
Is that Rarible? Something like that? I don't even know. Okay. So this is Botverse, but Botoverse.
Yeah, it's Rarible.
Okay. So this is Botoverse.
So yeah, this is something that's coming soon. We're just building. We just launched something actually today, which is the for feature request for users to request new things. So I mentioned a few use cases that we do, but if you think like, oh, I would love if it did that as well. Now, if you go to requests.boto.io, you can just write your request and ask. So anyway, that's one thing. And the Botoverse is, the idea is that when you build a bot, like I showed you a few examples, like, oh, you can monitor sales, and send to Discord. But the platform itself is quite flexible. So I can show you the canvas if you like.
Yeah.
And I don't know, should I share my screen or?
Yeah, you do that. See if you can. See if you can do that.
Let me see. And
if not, let me think here. So let me go to settings.
Looks like I can.
You can?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, you did. Here, look at that.
Cool. So I just logged in. So if you show the website, that our main page initially. If you click in Try Boto, you're gonna go to this, which is the Boto app, and it's free. So you can just log in and sign up, and then you see there are a few things, but I'm just gonna show more where the bots are created.
Okay.
And then to give you an idea of how easy it is as well. Actually, before I show how to create the bots, I'll just show you the recipes page, because most people just go here and search for recipes. So there are loads of recipes already created on,
That's cool.
I mentioned the RSS feeds. So if you go here and say, I want to, try, you can try this recipe. Like I mentioned, you just get the RSS feed and send to Discord. In this case, it's doing that to 2 feeds in one bot. But you can keep it to 1, and just delete the other one if you want.
Wow.
Yeah, and this is more or less how you do things. And let's say if you say, okay, I want to monitor this RSS feed, but I want to filter, and I only want to be notified if there's a certain word in the title, right? So I can add a filter here in the middle. And sorry, I'm clicking a little bit fast here, but and then say, okay, filter the title or the summary, and if it contains a certain word, Bitcoin, then send me. Otherwise, don't send me. So this kind of stuff is very flexible. So the idea with Botoverse, going back to, you mentioned the Botoverse here that's coming soon, is that the whole purpose of the platform was built for people to put their logic on building things and share that with each other. So right now, the recipes were all created by us, by the Boto team, but soon, next month, we'll enable people to create their own recipes and share. And we've seen users doing very interesting stuff. We've seen users, we mentioned a little bit about the NFT space. we've seen recipes where users manage to filter out fake mints or airdrops. And some users are filtering NFTs by their attributes, so it's something rare. So yeah, there's a lot of things going on, and sometimes we see a bot that there was one that had 50 blocks in it. So definitely
Whoa,
yeah,
almost like Infusionsoft or Keep, where we would have these long funnels. Wow, campaigns.
So yeah, just to show you a little bit more, and I definitely, if you're listening, I definitely invite you to come and play with these, play around, build your own bots, and if you don't find something here, I mentioned that we just built the requests.
Yes.
So it's just requests.photo.io, and you see here, we already have quite a few requests because we migrated from an old tool. But yeah, this is more or less
where you can write in your idea.
Yeah, you just put the title here, description, and you use the same login as our app. So if you create the user on the app, if not, you can just create here and then use for the app. It's the same platform.
This is so good. So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
By the way, everybody, go to boto.io. It's free. Like he said, you can play around. You just like I sat there for about 10 seconds and thought, whoa, we could do this, we could do that. This is the beauty of Web3. Don't you agree, Breno, that someone creates something and then because it's decentralized, people can just start adding and nuancing? What do you think?
Sharing, contributing, collaborating is the key in Web3 for sure. It brings the whole spirit of community, yeah, absolutely. I think that's going to be the biggest value in most of these platforms.
Yes. How do you feel as your daughter's now, is it your daughter or son?
It's son.
Okay, so your son is now 7 months old.
Almost 6, yes.
Almost 6. So he's 6 months old. A year ago, your life looked very different. I think that in my perspective, I'm always asking, God, I believe that we're being directed, and that there's a bigger story to our lives. How do you feel a year later now, seeing, oh my gosh, we took this idea, we won a contest, we went into seed funding, we now have, what do you think?
Yeah, it's crazy, like 1 year ago, it was like, exactly, I wasn't even had been accepted to Accelerator yet 1 year ago. I was doing my job, had just done the hackathon and was thinking, okay, I'm going to build this thing in parallel, slowly, like I've done 20 other things, and let's see what happens. Right. And my life completely changed, and I definitely wouldn't go back. I was talking with a friend of mine because when I was making the decision, I spoke with a few mentors and friends, and one of them who went through Accelerator just before me and was doing his Series A, and he was one of the people who influenced me to go. And I just had a chat with him the other week, and he's like, last time we spoke, you were not sure about leaving your job. What about now? How do you feel about it? And I was like, yeah, definitely done the right thing.
Yes.
It's huge change.
Yeah.
So for the entrepreneurs listening, if that's your calling, if that's the thing you want to do, you got to enjoy the throw, because it was tough. I always worked hard hours even when I was an employee. So if you want to do your thing, probably you're like me. But yeah, it was crazy hours. My wife, when my wife was in labor, if the servers were down, I was the only person who could fix it. And we had a 15-hour labor, and it was intense to be, during the pregnancy, last few months of pregnancy. So I honestly have to thank a lot my wife.
She sounds awesome.
To enable me to do this, because if it wasn't her, wouldn't have done without her support. So now we look back, both of us very happy with it, but it was, in hindsight, it's easy to see that, but at the time it was not easy to see.
Wow. Wow. So what do you want to tell the audience, whether it's about Bodo or their dreams or all of the above? What do you want to leave with us today?
Um, I think the main thing I would like to leave is you mentioned about saving payroll time. So the way I think about Bodo is it's saving resources in general. Like, and if you think about how much resource we waste as humans,
Mm,
how much time we do things that are wasted. I truly believe that humanity will only evolve when we create new things. When we create a cure for a new disease, or you create a new technology and stuff. And creativity can only be done by humans.
mm,
If you can automate anything else, the more space, more resource we have for creativity, be money or time, both. So the real vision for me, and one of the reasons I'm so passionate about automation and building Bodo, is allowing people to create those automations and freeing their time to be creative, to create new things, and become an entrepreneur, and doing other things with your life. And if you just want to go to the beach and have time with your family, great as well. But what is there for humanity,
I
basically? I
like
think
that.
that, yeah.
I like that. That is so good. And so you kind of view us on this trajectory where people like you and other Web3 applications, they allow us to, like you said, collaborate, but also you free up that time to be more creative. And it's just like exponential.
Yeah, yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, listen, Breno, it was fantastic to be with you today. Folks, boto.io is the place to be. And we're just excited that our community is going to be using your software. Or is this what it's called? What is it even called? A DApp? What is this called?
Yeah, it's software app,
Software.
uh,
App.
the
Yeah.
app.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you
Well,
so much. And yeah,
thank you,
tell
Kary.
your wife she's awesome.
No, thank you, Kary. Nice. Thanks for
Take care.
inviting me, and